Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our second day of the here we go, the Sattvik Cooking Week, day 2. So the first thing that I wanted to do is acknowledge and wish everybody a Shubha Deepawali. Today we celebrate Deepawali, and we'll have our puja in the evening. And one particular email came in, so I just thought I would share it. It's from Mishra in Argentina. And just to again remind us of that which brings us together and that which we celebrate as Deepawali. He says, Sagurnad Maharaj Ki Jai. Today we chant to Mahalakshmi. Usually we ask for abundance in our lives, prosperity or other things. Today I do not want to ask for something, but to say thank you. Thanks because grace has given us Nityananda. Thanks because the grace put Baba at his feet, as his feet. And thanks because Baba left us Gurudev. Today I do not ask for something. Today I say thank you Mahalakshmi for giving us this lineage, their teachings, and with all my heart, thank you for giving us Gurudev. There is nothing else I can ask. Grace has given us all because they show us the path to find that God, Guru, dwells within me as me. Sadhgurnad Maharaj Ki Jai. This is my letter for everyone at the ashram, always at Guruji's feet. So I thought I would share that. There was also another email that arrived last night, which I'm going to leave it anonymous. And at the bottom of that email, it said, lots of appreciation for the generosity and kindness. I cried for years wishing I could come back to Walden. Now after this visit, I have done everything that I wished for and more that I could ever imagine, including daily ecstatic chanting with lovers of God, intensives, Guru talks, Guru drumming, dancing in the dancing sapta, listening to live flute and vocal concerts, including a whole week of being serenaded by the Nasraj singers, dancing in the beautiful sunrises and sunsets, running in the woods and the cornfields, breathing the cleanest air I could ever imagine, making friends and feeling a sense of belonging and being helpful, gradually getting stretchier from Hatha Yoga, being in an excellent cooking class, and living under the umbrella of love and protection, which has strengthened my courage and inspired me in every way. Thank you. If a soul can be lost and then saved, I think you have saved mine again. So, just to kind of set a different tone today with regards to our cooking day 2 and the celebration of Deepawali. So yesterday, we had the great fortune of having Mung, which was taught in 3 different ways by Prabhu. So that was a lovely class, and we had the afternoon pecan sandies by Jackie, and the chai with the lemongrass. And I just wanted to revisit one thing that I said yesterday, and just again, because I think I kind of forgot, or maybe didn't really allude to the actual point of what I was trying to communicate. So I just wanted to go back a little bit and make sure that that point was expressed more clearly. So when I said the thing about that at childhood, from the 6 to 13, and having Eggo waffles, and having the eggs, and the toast, and the sheet cake, and what was the other item?
Mac and cheese.
And the mac and cheese, Kraft mac and cheese, that's right, that blue and white box. Every day, right? Orange, bright orange, it tasted delicious, loved it. The point of that was to say, really, there wasn't another choice. That was what it was for those years. But the main thing was that I wanted to express that from nothing comes everything. So that which we can use as a metaphor even in our own lives, from that little seed comes a tree, or from creation, from nothing comes everything. So in the same way, worship of food came from nothing to everything, and what we get to express and experience here day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year. Also what I wanted to do was I wanted to request Lavergy. He was sharing some beautiful verses with me yesterday. We were talking about food. So we were going over some verses. And in that sharing, the meaning of what he was sharing was so perfect for to share with everybody in the class. So I'm going to request him to take a few minutes, recite the verse, share the meaning of the verse, and then also there's a story or two which is really wonderful as well. So I wanted to share both stories, and then we'll continue from there. Sadhgurnath Maharaj Ki Jai.
Translation?
You guys can do that.
सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। कुकिंग क्लास का आज दूसरा दिन।
Today is the second day of the cooking class.
यहाँ पर कुछ श्लोक है जो मैं पढ़ता हूँ।
There are some verses here which I will recite.
अन्नदः प्राणदो लोके प्राणदः सर्वदो भवेत् तस्मात् अन्नं विशेषेण दातव्यं भूतिमिच्छता अन्नं ह्यमृतभिद्याहुः अन्नं प्रजननं स्मृतम् अन्नप्राणाशे सीदन्ति शरीरे पञ्चधातवः अन्नमेव प्रशंसन्ति देवा ब्रह्म पुरस्सराः अन्नेन सदृशं दानं न भूतं न भविष्यति अन्नाद् रक्तं च शुक्रं च अन्ने जीवः प्रतिष्ठितः इन्द्रियाणि च बुद्धिश्च पुण्यन् अन्नेन नित्यशः अन्नहीनानि सीदन्ति सर्वभूतानि पाण्डव तेजो बलं च रूपं च सत्वं वीर्यं धृतिर्धृतिः ज्ञानं मेधा तथायुश्च सर्वमन्ये प्रतिष्ठितं देवमानवतिर्यक्षु सर्वलोकेषु सर्वदा सर्वकालं हि सर्वेषाम् अन्ये प्राणा प्रतिष्ठितः। ये श्लोक शांति पर्व के हैं, महाभारत का शांति पर्व।
These verses are from the Shanti Parva, the chapter on Shanti in the Mahabharata.
और भीष्म अर्जुन को अन्न के बारे में बोलते हैं।
And Bhishma shares with Arjuna about food.
अन्न सबके लिए जरूर है और अन्न से हमारे शरीर के अंदर पंच धातु बनते हैं। शरीर के जो हमारे इंद्रिय है उसको शक्ति अन्न प्रदान करता है। अन्न से शरीर में रक्त बनता है, शुक्र वीर्याणु बनते हैं और अन्न से ही जीव जन्मा जाता है, जीव से जीव जन्म लेता है।
Food is essential for all of us. Food is what gives us energy. Food makes up the five constituents of the body. From food comes blood, and from blood comes the sexual fluid, and it is from food, so it is from food that an individual is born.
अन्न से ही तेज, शक्ति, रूप, सात्विकता, बुद्धि ये सब प्राप्त होता है। अन्न से ही आयुष्य प्राप्त होता है। अन्न से ही ज्ञान और मेधा शक्ति प्राप्त होती है।
It is from food that we get brilliance, energy, life force, and it is from food that we get the power of the intellect.
इसीलिए अन्न कैसा हो इसका महत्व है.
That is why it is important what quality the food is.
जहाँ से अन्न बनता है, कौन उसको बोता है, कौन उसकी सिंचाई करता है, कहाँ से वो हमारे तक आता है, और फिर बनाने वाला कैसा है, वो कैसा बना के हमको खिलाता है, उसके ऊपर हमारे शरीर में ये सब गुण बढ़ते हैं.
Who plants the seed, who waters and takes care of the seed, how it comes from the farm to the table, who cooks the food, what quality of that person is who cooks the food, all of that affects and comes to us.
इसके बारे में एक कथा है.
On this there is a story.
वीर सावरकर जो स्वतंत्र सेनानी थे, उनको किसी कारण ब्रिटिश गवर्नमेंट ने जेल में डाल दिया.
Veer Savarkar, who was a freedom fighter, was for some reason imprisoned by the British government.
वो बहुत मातृभक्त थे. आपके माँ के प्रति उनकी बहुत श्रद्धा थी, बहुत प्रेम था.
He was a devout devotee, staunch follower of his mother. He had great affection and devotion towards his mother.
मगर उनको एक दिन सपना आया कि वो अपने माँ को ही मार रहे हैं, माँ का गला दबा के माँ का खून कर रहे हैं, ऐसा उनको सपना आया.
But he had a dream that he was killing his mother. He was and strangling her with his hands.
वो सोचने लगे ऐसा सपना मेरे को क्यों आया, मैं तो मातृभक्त हूँ, मुझे तो ऐसा सपना आना ही नहीं चाहिए, मगर क्यों आया. और फिर उसके ऊपर उन्होंने संशोधन शुरू किया.
He started to ponder, why did I get this dream? Because I have great love towards my mother. Why would I get this kind of a dream?
और फिर उन्होंने ऐसा संशोधन किया. संशोधन करते करते उनको उसका उत्तर मिला कि जो उनका रसोई बनाने वाला था उसको माँ के खून में शिक्षा मिली. उसने माँ का खून किया था और उस शिक्षा के कारण वो यहाँ था.
And having done his investigation, he found out that the cook who cooked his food was actually guilty of killing his mother.
और इसीलिए उनको ऐसा सपना आया, जिसके हाथ का अन्न खाया, वो ऐसा हमारे यहाँ कहावत है, अन्न से मन बनता है, और जो अन्न हम खाते हैं उसी से हमारा मन बनता है, और मन फिर सब चीजें हमारी करता है.
So that is why he deduced that he got that dream, because it is from the food that our mind is made. It is said, there is a saying that food is mind, or mind is food. So the quality of food affects the mind.
दूसरी एक कथा ऐसी भी है कि एक साधु था और भिक्षा मांगने के लिए घर घर जाता था.
There is another story of a sadhu, a mendicant, who used to go from house to house begging alms.
और ऐसे घर में गया तो जिसके घर भिक्षा मांगने गया उसने बोला, अंदर आओ, हमारे यहाँ भोजन करो.
And one family at whose doorstep he begged alms invited him into their house and said, please have a meal at our place.
भोजन तो बहुत अच्छा था, भोजन में स्वाद था, भोजन के लिए सब चांदी के बर्तन उनको दिए गए थे, अच्छी तरह से उनकी भोजन की व्यवस्था थी.
The food was delicious, there was taste in the food, and silver cutlery was used to serve the food in, so all the setup was perfect.
परंतु भोजन होने के बाद वो साधु के मन में आया और उन्होंने उसमें से 2 कटोरी चुरा के अपने झोले में डाली.
But after the meal was finished, he had some thought and he stole 2 cups. 2 कटोरी क्या?
नहीं, चांदी का 2 कटोरी.
He stole 2 cups, the silver cups, and hid it under his shawl.
और वो चला गया. यजमान ने भी कुछ सोचा नहीं, बोला ठीक है, साधु लेके जा रहे हैं तो जाने दो.
And he left, and the host also didn't think much of it. He thought if the sadhu is taking this with him, so be it.
मगर बाहर जाने के बाद साधु सोचने लगा कि ऐसा ख्याल मेरे मन में क्यों आया, मैं तो साधु हूँ, चोरी करने का विचार मेरे मन में क्यों आया.
But after having left, he started to ponder, why did I get this thought? I am a sadhu, I am a mendicant after all. Why would a thought of stealing arise in my mind?
और फिर वो उस यजमान के घर गया.
And he went back to the house of the host.
और उसको पूछा कि आप क्या करते हो.
And he asked them, he asked him, "What is your occupation?"
वो बोला कि नहीं ठीक है स्वामी जी, पूछना मत, जो भी है वो ठीक है.
And the host resisted. He said, "Whatever it is fine. Do not ask me this question."
क्योंकि भोजन तो अच्छा था, सब तो व्यवस्था अच्छा की आपके लिए, तो फिर जो भी है ठीक है.
The food was nice, delicious. The setup was beautiful, so it's all fine.
मगर वो बोला नहीं, आपको बोलना पड़ेगा कि आप क्या करते हो, आपका उद्योग क्या है.
But the sadhu insisted that no, you'll have to share with me what is your occupation. What do you do for a living?
फिर साधु को बोलने के लिए बोले, साधु के लिए तो बोल सकता हूँ, और उसने बोला कि मैं तो चोर हूँ, रात को ये चोरी करके सब सामान लाया है.
And so he said, well, he's a sadhu, so I'll share with him openly. He said, I am a thief, and all these utensils that you see, I stole them the night before.
और इसीलिए वो साधु के मन में भी वो अन्न खाने से ऐसा विचार आया.
And so the sadhu also had this thought by eating that food that was served like that.
तो यही महाभारत में भीष्म अर्जुन को समझाते हैं कि भाई अन्न खाने से ही ये सब कुछ होता है, कि अन्न से शरीर में रक्त बनता है. और एक थोड़ा सा विचार आपके सामने मैं ऐसा रखूंगा कि अब देखिए, हमारे हाथ में भगवान ने कुछ नहीं रखा है. बीज कहाँ से आता है हमें मालूम नहीं, हम उसको बोते हैं.
So this is what Bhishma is sharing with Arjuna in the Mahabharata, that it is food that makes us, food that makes our blood. It is said that we don't have much control. The seed that is planted in the soil,
बीज बोना तो हमारे हाथ में है, मगर उसके बाद बरसात उसने अपने हाथ में रखा है.
so for example, the seed is planted, that planting of the seed is in our control, but then the sprouting is up to the rain.
उसके बाद उसको संभालना, बड़ा करना ये हमारे हाथ में है. उसको घर लेके आना, धान्य बना के, वो हमारे हाथ में है. मगर वो खाने के बाद खून बनाना उसने अपने हाथ में रखा है.
Then to water it, take care of it, nurture it is in our hands. To then harvest it and bring it to our home is in our hands. But then to transform that food into blood, He, the Lord, has left it, that part in His hands.
मगर अन्न खाना कैसा है वो हमारे हाथ में, इसलिए हम अच्छा अन्न बनाए, अच्छा खाए, और हमारा शरीर में जो रक्त बनता है वो अच्छा बने, ये इतना हम कामना कर सकते हैं. इसके साथ सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय.
But how we eat that food is in our control. So we should be careful of how we eat, what we eat, and so that it's transformed into blood in a beneficial way. Sadhgunath.
Thank you, Lavarji, for all that wonderful wisdom, and
Thank
hopefully
you,
that, and hopefully that allows us to expand our idea, our concept, our experience, our relationship with food. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to transition into, like I said yesterday, Baba's Siddha cooking book as being the Bible and the GPS for this week. And I'm just going to start with reading something to transition us into Baba's freedom and movement in the kitchen, and to just try to give us a glimpse of what his presence was in a kitchen. Most people use recipes as a substitute for self-confidence. Baba's cooking is a matter of trusting yourself, diving into your own creativity. It comes back to the Shakti. It's a matter of honoring your own Shakti, the God inside. If you do Baba's cooking, you cook to suit your own taste. As Chandra explained once, cooking is meditation. You become very one-pointed on what you're doing. You just open up and let it all happen. There are no mistakes in Baba's cooking. Even if you put too much of something in, Chandra said, I know a lot of times I'm running around throwing things into a pot, and I'll throw in too much of one thing. Say I throw in too much lemon. I just throw in that much more sugar. I don't even break my momentum. I just keep on going. I never regret. That's Shakti. That's self-confidence. That's honoring the God within, and that's the way to do Baba's cooking. We use everything in the kitchen, Chandra said. There's hardly anything you're justified in throwing away. The pits, the shells, the rotten parts, that's really all. If we have vegetables left over, we put them in the soup. If there's soup left over, we cook the grain in it. If there's grain left over, we make a salad out of it. Everything gets used. It's the economical way to run a kitchen, of course, but the real reason behind the use-it-all policy is Shakti. Food is Shakti. Shakti is God. What happens when you use everything you've got is that the ingredients are different every single time. There is no recipe, so your cooking develops according to your own style. Your self-confidence starts growing, and your creativity starts flowing through you freely. That's the way Baba cooks. So if we think about Baba's presence in a kitchen, I'll start maybe with South Fallsburg, when he used to come in the mornings to Amrit. So we would all hear Bimi make the announcement about that Amrit was open and everybody could come in. And Baba usually would come in sometime after the Guru Gita, and everybody would be sitting in Amrit at all the individual tables like we have here in the dining room. And they would have everything laid out like we've been doing for our cooking classes on the chopping boards and all ready for Baba when he came in. So usually in those mornings he would make these little teeny tiny miniature dosas like this big and just fold it over, and they were almost, I mean, they were bigger than bite size, but they were like probably like this, not the dosas that we're used to getting like the uttapams and the big folding ones and the round ones, but just these little tiny little miniature ones. Do you remember that, Gaddafi? In South Fallsburg in the mornings? And Baba would come in, everybody would be eating their breakfast. It wasn't like they waited till everybody was done. Everybody would be in Amrit having breakfast. And then Baba would come in with his fast walk, like he had a mission to accomplish. And he would come in, orange lungi, orange top, orange kurta, everything there, his dress, ready to just go straight to the grill and start with what was there. So all of us who used to sit out there, we used to just wait for him to walk in into the kitchen. And it wasn't the inside kitchen, it was the kitchen that was like outside by where the cashier was, and there was a grill there. And he would just come in, ask for all of his bowls of everything, and everything was being passed to him so fast. I mean, you could not look left, you could not look right, you could hardly blink your eyes. It was all happening so quickly. And you just had to like, just pay attention, just watch him. And he would do all this thing, and he would smile, and he would laugh, he was like joyful. There was nothing serious about it. He would just be so joyful and gazing through his glasses, and you would just get a glimpse of his eyes and how immersed he was in just that. And the fermentation of those dosas, still to this day I can remember, they were really fermented, and you could taste the sourness of the dosas. And in those days, sometimes they would just put maybe like a little teeny tiny tablespoon, kind of like the little scoop we used yesterday for the cookies, just a little ball, maybe that big, of like potato masala, and just kind of like quickly take a little butter knife and just spread it on the dosa. So you got like very little potato masala, and then they would come out with a tray, and everyone who was in Amrit, they would come around and they would say, Baba's Prasad, Baba's Prasad, Baba's Prasad. And everybody would just take a morsel of that or a bite of that, and you just felt that you were so elated. Why? Who knows? Where did it take you? Who knows? But just to have that moment of his presence come into the kitchen, make these delicious little teeny tiny miniature folded pancakes that were like this big, but you waited for the next day. Everybody would be so excited and wait for his Shakti to come through us, through those dosas. And then I was also thinking of in India. So in Amrit, that was where I had the wonderful honor of being, of actually cooking the dosas on the grill there, and it was quite a scene. It was in Amrit, and we would have the string of all the orders, you know, just like you do like in a regular restaurant or whatever. They have that string. So all the orders would come in, and everybody would be writing them down, and they would bring you the orders, you know, and so you'd have dosas lined up like on little sheets of paper, all the different types of dosas and the toppings that everybody wanted. So, and they would be pinned up on this, like, on these things going all the way across, and you're looking at that and you're going, oh my God, this is like, how are we going to get all this thing? It's like, everything's moving so quickly. And Baba would come in and he would, like, some people, I mean, some of us, I'm sure, our thing would be like to just start with the little wadi and to go down and make like a perfect circle and get them going big, starting in the middle, thin, going bigger, wider, 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 like that. He would just come in and take the wadi and just, like a painting, you know, like just really, really fast, and you'd just be like, and then he'd move to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Before you knew it, you had like 8 doses up there, and all of them sizzling and like putting the ghee, dribbling it around. Then you got the broom, and everything was like so fast. I just remember the speed at which he moved, but the focused attention. There was nothing else happening. There was no distraction over there. There was nothing happening over there. There was nothing happening over there. It was right here, right now. And everybody who would be in there observing and also cooking with Baba, it was like there was this like riveting, like pure silence. No talking. Just everybody immersed in watching, learning, and imbibing his style, his presence, and the freedom with which he cooked. There was no fear. Total absence of fear. No measuring. No nothing. Just being. Just going like right into it. So when we talk about diving into that creativity, it's with that kind of feeling that just being able to jump in, it's like jumping in a swimming pool. I mean, you can go toe by toe, you can go ankle deep, you can go knee deep, but otherwise you just dive in and say, it is what it is. Let's just give it a shot and see what happens. And then through repetitive, repetitively doing it, we get the knack of what all of that is. So I think that, I would say the 2 main things with Baba was his freedom in cooking, the speed with which he cooked, and that focused mind, and also focused mind or no mind, really, right? I mean, if there's no content there. And I would say that I think also one of the main things about cooking is when we go to actually cook, to make sure that the mind is not preoccupied with anything other. So not bringing our troubles, our problems, our worries, our doubt, our inferiorities, any of that into it. Just trusting that whatever it is that we're going to prepare because of our love for food and the excitement of what's going to be at the end and what it's going to all come to, and we're actually going to consume it, is to enjoy doing it and having that enthusiasm and having that that freedom. And also, Gurudev has always put a lot of emphasis on this daridra, which means that poverty consciousness. And I know many times, I think we've all heard him at different times here, sharing about never think that there's not enough. That always to cook with that feeling of abundance. So abundance in our minds, where the mind is just like empty and it's just totally free for that creativity to be able to come in. And then secondly, that out of that generosity and that abundance, that there's also no poverty consciousness there. Is there going to be enough? Maybe there's not going to be enough. Did I do too much of that? Did I do too less of that? What if more people show up? What if more people show up, change the size of your serving spoon? Some of these things are really simple, right? If you think you're going to cook for 50 people, 80 people show up, just go into the kitchen and change the ladle. Change the size of the ladle so everybody gets less, but you know that everybody will get it, and then everybody can go back for seconds and thirds, right? So there's very simple, I mean, and this is like a philosophy that wasn't talked about through words. It was something you were just immersed in. And it was a way of life around him. Nobody gave talks on it, nobody talked about it, nobody expressed it, but just living in the ashram and just being in his company, being in his presence, and just observing and watching him day in, day out, day in, into the evening program, in the mornings, walking down the hallway, whatever it was, just observing this presence, observing this man, observing this great being, and just taking in as much as you could. So, yeah, and I'd have to say, the main thing I think within cooking and everything, just another little like kind of small treasure, is that really, I would say the one thing that everyone probably, that all of us need to focus on the most is the flame. The flame of those burners, the flame of the grill, the adjustment that takes place continuously. So say if you're making doses on the grill, there's the constant thing with the brooming of the water, throwing water on it, cooling it down, raising it up. If you're putting 10 doses out there, obviously the grill's going to start to get cool. Adjusting the flame, turning it up, cooling it down a little bit so that they don't burn, adding the oil there so you get a nice surface so they don't stick. All of the, but I think mostly it's all about the flame. And if we take the same analogy, like what we've used before, like with the lamps in the temple, and that we used to have the lamps lit there all the time. And one would look at any of the lamps and think, oh, that's really easy to do. You know, you just like take the cotton wick and you move it up a little bit, and you take off the black part, you make sure you have enough oil, you keep sliding them up so that they burn evenly all the way. But when you do it, you see that sometimes the wick keeps fluttering and keeps moving. Sometimes it's totally still, and sometimes it goes out. And I think that that same thing about the flame, wherever there's this, actually that's kind of auspicious because of Diwali today, the Festival of Lights. I wasn't thinking about that when but the flame, if we always stay focused on that flame, the flame that's there externally in the kitchen when we're cooking, and that awareness of the flame, the awareness of that light that's within inside each and every one of us, and keeping that always burning, always illuminating, always alive, and never allowing it to go out. So I think, and also I had another thought, this is kind of taking it somewhere else, but I want to make sure. For most of us, many of us are aware of that Anthony Bourdain, the one who's the cook and went to all the different countries, all the different places, and I mean, we followed, so many people followed him on the Food Channel and saw like all these amazing things that he did. And you would think to yourself, what happened? Where did it go wrong? You know, I mean, he passed away, he took his own life, but he was like immersed in food all the time. But the key is the mind. If the mind is not steady, if the mind is not established in that joy, in that love for food, in that joy of cooking, or understanding exactly what Lavarji just said about food is God. I mean, if we don't really have that experience and we don't live in that, then we can be making the best food everywhere. We can be traveling around enjoying all the wonderful spaces and places and all of that. But even like restaurant food, sometimes we can digest it, sometimes we can't, right? Sometimes we go out, it's like a fabulous meal, it's like it suits us and we're totally good. Other times we go, we can't digest it. The body, it shifts according to what is put into it. And based on what Lavarji just said, the content within the minds of those who cook it. So it's always about trying to purify, keeping the mind quiet, keeping it not allowing it to get distracted, completely absorbed in the joy of cooking and feeding others. And I kind of think that's it for now. And we'll move towards our rice and dal. So what's ahead today? So we have rice, dal, and papad by Ashok. That'll be the continuation of our morning in the kitchen. And we're going to learn how to make dal fry. So everyone will go home knowing how to make dal. We'll also do rice in 2 ways. One will be in the actual rice cooker, and also one will be in the pot on a stove. Sometimes you have a rice cooker, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you have a pot, sometimes you have a rice cooker. So knowing how to do both. And then in the afternoon, we'll have our best basic oatmeal cookies by Mary Sue. And then we'll have, along with that, we'll have our chai as well. We'll do it with ginger today because it's a nice rainy day, so we could all use a little bit of extra ginger in our throats. So we'll have that this afternoon. And then in the evening, we have our Diwali puja with Lavarji, and that'll be in the temple, and that'll be at 5 p.m. So this afternoon, we'll kind of, we'll have make sure that our cookies and chai and everything is all happening around 4:15, so that everyone has that 45 minutes afterwards to enjoy the chai and cookies and enjoy eating them, and then everybody has enough time to switch it around, change clothes, and then be in the temple by 5 p.m. So does anybody have any questions on what we just covered now, or is everybody ready to move towards the kitchen? And I just want to also again thank all of the cooks and thank all of the bakers, because without you this wouldn't be happening. Okay, so salutations to all of the cooks and all of the bakers and all of you who have made the effort, even in the rain and in this amazing weather we're having, for being here and taking the time to become absorbed in learning about beautiful Siddha cooking, Baba's cooking, Sattvik cooking, and enjoying all of it together. There's nothing like sharing is caring. Sadhgurnath Maharaj ki jai. Do you have a question? I think.
Where 3 moves.
That was one. No, mung was the one ingredient that you could make 3 different ways. So that was the idea behind that. So you would get the protein one, the one that we have for breakfast. You'd get a lunch thing, the rest of all the mung or a dinner thing, and then the sprouted salad. So that you could make anywhere if you had to go anywhere and bring something. The dal, if you have time, you can do another dal. If you want to do mung dal or you want to do another dal, you can do that.
There's a methi sabji.
There's a methi sabji. Okay, so somebody brought in a big box of methi leaves.
What's methi?
Fenugreek. Fenugreek, a little bit bitter. That's definitely one of those vegetables that needs to be washed and rinsed very, very thoroughly so that you don't get that sand, like with kale, into your mouth. So hopefully whoever did the washing and the rinsing hopefully did it really, really well so that we don't have this.
They get sand, Bhakti's problem.
The sign of a good cook, they always transfer it to their assistant. Yeah, so I think we'll move towards the kitchen. So for those of you who are going to, yes, Jayashree.
Are you going to give out?
Oh, yes, I am, Jayashree. So for those of you, like we talked about, how on the last day, all of the recipes are going to come to you in a slipcover like this. But for those of you who want to use yours ahead, who are more, want to take notes as we go along, you can collect your copy right here on your way to the kitchen, and we'll get started with our rice and dal. Bye, Ashok. Sadhgurnath.